10th. 10-day. I had a dream. I just wanted to talk about the dream. In my dream. Oh, excuse me. In my dream there was I was at a school. And there were these kids, and everyone was lined up. It was a competition, a swim meet. It was like a swim competition or something. But I was there, and it felt like I was just kind of helping them. Like they were part of my team. And we were preparing them to compete. Not preparing them, because it was the competition. So we were there to support them. Like, so I was part of the team to help them get to that point. And the administrators were there, and I was talking to the administrators. And these kids were like just lining up, getting ready to perform, or not perform, but do their swim meet or whatever. And it was outside. It was at a school I'd never been to before. But some of my old coworker friends, the crazies, were there. And I remember thinking, like, why are they here? And I realized when I hung out with them, it always felt like high school. It was, whenever I hung out with them, it felt like high school all over again. But interestingly enough, I never had that experience in high school. Because I wasn't very social in high school. Like in high school, I went to 2 different high schools. The first high school was in a very affluent community, and I tried to get involved, but it was not only was it an affluent community, but it was very like racially it was very different for me. I was a minority there, and I couldn't, like, I tried to acclimate. I think I might have mentioned it before, like I met, the first day of school, I happened to meet someone who's white, and she was in front of me, and she's great. But she was also new to the school, so we were both new, and that's what kind of, you know, we happen to have the name, we were sat in alphabetical order by last name, and so that's how we ended up meeting, and then we had a few classes together, and that was it. Like, but she was more social than I was, and so she would have all these other friends, and she would introduce me to them, but I was just so quiet. Like it was really hard for me to make friends. The first year it was more us, and then the second year she blossomed a little bit more, and I didn't. And I only gave myself 2 years. That was what I was gonna give myself. I'm like, I'm gonna try 2 years. If not, I'm gonna request to get out of this school. And I remember everyone was shocked. They're like, because everyone lied to get into that school, and I was just like, I don't care. Like, I don't feel comfortable. I don't want to be here. And I tried to get involved, but everything was so expensive, and I knew my family's situation, and I didn't want to put them in that position to have to pay so much money just so that I can feel like I'm a part of something, or you know, that it was just ridiculous amount. Like, this is ridiculous. I'm not gonna pay that much. And yeah, so it's just really hard for me. And so my junior year, I moved back to my hometown high school, and I would get dropped off like at 4 a.m. because that's the time that my dad would leave for work and to LA. And fortunately, he found a way to like kind of go back that route to drop me off at my friend's house. So I lived like the mornings. I would get there super early with my friend, and I'd sleep for a few hours before we got up and got ready for school. But for the most part, I was already ready for school. And so, and then her mom would take us, or we would walk. Or her mom would take us to school, depending on the days. And, but this particular friend is super bright, super smart. She was involved in everything. So I never saw her, actually. I never really saw her because she was always in certain meetings and just everywhere. And so I was on my own. Oftentimes I was on my own. And I ended up, so I had to make my way. I had to find a way to like not feel alone. And so I would, she introduced me to like, she was in ASB. So I started getting involved in ASB. And so then there's the ASB room where you go and like, you pay for, for the dances, you pay for all this other stuff. So I was allowed to go in. So that's where I hung out. I hung out in there with all the other ASB people, and it was fun. Like I've had fun in there, and then sometimes I would just hang out outside, like right outside of it. And a lot of my junior high friends went there too, but they were all like they all scattered in terms of their interest. So some of them became like cheerleaders, and then others were into sports, and then others just, so it's like I never really had like a little pod of friends where I could say like, I didn't. I knew people from here, from there, but I never felt comfortable enough to hang out with them because everybody was already so different. It's really interesting. So I still hung out on my own with whenever my friend had time to hang out, we would hang out, and then we met these guys in our first period class, and sometimes they would hang out with me, and then I started dating one of the guys. He was really smart, and he had really pretty eyes, but what turned me off was that he didn't, I forgot about him. I went to a dance with him, and what turned me off eventually was that he in essence, like this kid was brilliant, and it turned me off that he tried to hide that. It turned me off that he didn't want to accept that part of himself as who he was. Like there was shame around it, and there was shame around it, and I didn't like that. I was like, you're really smart. Like, why don't you embrace it? But it wasn't cool back then to be really smart. You had the jocks, you had the rebels on the wall. You had the, it was interesting when I would see someone and I'm just like, why are you shy? Like just hiding this part of yourself, and that turned me off. So I remember that. But I didn't really get involved except for ASB, maybe a few clubs. I did get involved in a few clubs, and I don't think I ever became president of any clubs, but I was like, I forgot what role I had. I had some role. I don't remember. I had to look at my yearbook. But I don't, and I got more involved there because things were a little more financially like reasonable. Like I was just like, okay, yeah, like I could participate in this club. I don't have to pay so much, or the dances were like $5 to get in versus like 100 and something. I'm just like, I'm not gonna pay that much. That much was for like prom and homecoming, but not for freaking like, Sadie Hawkins dance. Forget So I yeah, I just show. Why was I saying that? Oh, well, just this experience of being in high school. Like I didn't have my little clique of friends, and I didn't have I you know, parties, clubs. I think if I did any of that, it was when I would visit my friend in the high desert, because she moved away after, right before high school, and we got really close during our high school years, where any chance that I got, I would go and see her. And we went to each other's proms, and like most of my adventures of going out was with her. Yeah. And that's when, like, I had another boyfriend there. It was in a party crew. I remember that. But what I didn't like about him was that he was mean. He was mean to his mom. I didn't like that. I didn't like that he was mean to his mom. And he cursed a lot. Like he was like a bad boy. He would curse a lot, and he would and I was just like, I remember after a year broke it up, and his mom blamed me. I remember his mom gave my friend's mom like some lip about like, oh, esa muchacha like destroyed him or whatever. I'm like, what are you talking about? Your son just didn't. I'm like, whatever. But yeah, no le echaba ganas a la escuela. Like he didn't try. I liked that he was funny. That's what I really liked. It was funny. He was funny, and I was really attracted to that. And he was funny. He was a good kisser too, but I didn't like that he. I think the biggest part was that I didn't like how he treated his family. I didn't like that. Party crew or not, I'm like, I don't care. I don't like how you treat your mom. Yeah, so I didn't really have like a group of people. And so in my dream, it's high school. And at the same time as I was kind of leading the group, the swim meet, which mind you, I was never part of swimming in high school. I was never part of swimming in high school. My old coworkers that I go dancing with, they were there. And I remember, and one of the reasons why I really enjoy hanging out with them is because they're fun and they're funny, and it feels like high school, you know? It feels like high school or college where you're dancing, having fun, drinking, you know? Like, I didn't have that, really. I had glimpses of it, but not a lot. So when I hang out with them, that's what it feels like. So anyway, so they were in my dream. Or some of them were in my dream. And so there's just swim meet that's happening. Coordinating at the same time. And then it switches to where I'm in this bedroom. And there's this guy with me in bed, and he feels familiar, but I don't know who he is. And there's this element, one, it was comfortable. Like, that's what I remember. It was comfortable. And we were comfortable. And it was nice to be held again. Like, it was, I remember that it was nice to be held. But there was this element of comfort. Familiarity, almost. And he wanted something more. He wanted something more. Like a relationship, or just, he wanted us to be closer. And I was just like, I don't know. There was a feeling of settling. There was a feeling on my part of settling. And I was conflicted, because as much as I was missing a connection, like just feeling held, I guess. There was a part of me that was like, I don't want to settle. I don't want to settle. So I was like conflicted. I was conflicted with becoming more intimate with this person, but also not wanting to settle. And that's what that felt like. And I don't know who this person was. Like, he just seemed familiar. Yeah, that's what I remember. And then I woke up. I was trying to remember my dream. I didn't remember. The part that I remembered was the being in that bedroom with that guy. The swim meet stuff came back after. Cause I was like, I felt like there was a lot more. So I'm gonna meditate and see if anything shows up. But on a good note, I purchased this book when I went out yesterday to the store. The Art of Chart Interpretation. And I really, so far I'm liking it because it's written by someone who actually, she's a psychotherapist. She's a psychotherapist and she's been using this. So she it's the same thing. Like, it's a split in terms of how she's doing this work. She identifies as a astrologer, but then also as a psychotherapist. So I don't know if she combines them, but she has websites, and I'm gonna reach out to her. So she's a licensed mental health counselor. So I'm excited to see how she has this set up, because there are chapters in there about like the counselor and stuff. So yeah, that's it. Hi, my name is Yubi, and in case you haven't figured it out, this footage is capturing my experience as I learn to navigate my personal spiritual awakening. I am learning that this experience is unique to each one of us, in whatever way we believe we are embracing living our truth. This just happens to be my journey. And despite me having a graduate degree and a license in clinical social work, this by no means is intended to replace any type of mental health advice. This is just me on a personal level, documenting my experience, shedding light on the truth that I am learning and discovering for myself, and really inviting you along for the ride. If by some magical chance you find this content to be helpful in any way, shape, or form, please click the like button, share the message, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have an Instagram account, a personal one, and one specifically for this channel that you're more than welcome to check out. I'm an open book. I have also created t-shirt designs. I'm wearing my favorite one right now, which is the North Node design, but I have that and other things that you can look at, inspired by this process and journey, and I have the link in the description box as well as in the about section of my YouTube channel. So you're more than welcome to check those items out. Any type of support is great. Again, if you find this content really helpful or meaningful, sometimes when we take that step and be vulnerable, with showing what's inside our hearts and what's really our truth, we realize that we're much more connected than what we thought we were. And so I hope that as I'm living this experience, and that you find some type of truth for yourself, or find some type of ability to heal in some way just by relating, just by knowing that you're not alone. That really has been my goal with this process, not just being able to connect with others, but really for my own healing. It's definitely been a therapeutic experience and a very creative one for myself. So I thank you, and I wish you all the best, and we'll see what else comes next for me. So